7,500. That's roughly the number of miles to get from Seattle, USA to Chiang Mai, Thailand. 86,400. That's how many seconds exist in 24 hours. Oh, and here's my favorite, 6,200. That's how many thoughts that the average human brain has each and every day. Now, since we're talking about random numbers, I want to challenge you all. I want you to turn to the person next to you, even if you don't know them, and I want you to tell them what time that you will be eating dinner in 3.5 weeks from now. Go ahead. Got it? No? That's okay, most people don't. But for me, I know every single detail about that dinner. I know where it will be, what I'll be wearing, down to each and every macro on the plate. You see, my mind moves fast. I don't just plan things, I plan everything. My calendar looks like a color-coordinated rainbow. I know where I should be, what I should be doing. Sometimes I even plan out the emotional arc of my day. To me, it's exhilarating. I have control. To other people, it's funny. Taylor has to plan when she breathes. Sometimes I do. But what took me a long time to realize is that brains don't just start moving that fast for no reason. You see, when I was a child, my family and I experienced homelessness. And when people hear that word, they often think of statistics, labels, or stereotypes. But when you're a child, it's not statistics. It's moments. It's scanning every room that you walk into. Who's there? How many chairs? Who feels safe? When are we leaving? Where am I going to sleep tonight? It's learning how to read a room instantly, like a superpower. And in that kind of environment, your brain adapts. It learns one thing: prepare or pay the price. Scientists call this fight or flight. And so I learned to become very observant, to stay alert, to stay prepared. Because if you can see what's coming, maybe you can protect yourself from it. Maybe you can protect your loved ones. And if you can't, everything falls apart and you fail. And for a long time, that mindset worked. It helped me to build a life that I loved. It helped me to succeed. I loved my life, and I still love it today. At 18, I decided to enter into the profession where nothing ever goes wrong, and everything is always perfect 100% of the time. Any guesses? I became a teacher, which is not true, but it makes perfect sense. A place with systems, structure, predictable outcomes. You follow the lesson plan, and things work fast. The faster you go, the more you can do. It just felt safe to live inside of things that were fast and could be measured. Outside of work, I also got really involved in anything you can imagine: clubs, sports, activities, anything to make my time go faster. I also got really into running, because running is planning. Distance, time, pace, faster or slower, you either finish or you don't. It just felt so safe. But there was also things that I avoided growing up, like painting, art, or anything creative, because art doesn't have to follow rules. And in my mind, if you make one tiny mistake, your whole canvas is ruined. Pointless. Waste of my precious time that could have been put towards getting things done. And so I decided to make a life revolved around avoiding failure. Degrees, perfection, wins, 4.0s, 100% of the time. And the thing is, people reward you for that. They compliment you. They validate you. Look at how much she's overcome. Look at how much she can do. Look at how successful you are. In psychology, they call this positive reinforcement. And it feels really good. So you keep going. Planning, producing, fixing. We're constantly spinning this hamster wheel that becomes a vicious cycle. But sometimes, we don't move fast because we're ambitious. We move fast because we don't know how to physically stop. We move fast because somewhere along the way we learned that slowing down meant lazy, imperfect, or wrong. And eventually, your body notices. It catches up to your brain. Mine did. About a year ago, I was planning to move to Thailand to teach and begin gathering research for my planned dissertation on my doctorate's degree, something I absolutely loved, something that was 8 years in the future. I had packing lists, color-coordinated itineraries, backup plans for the backup plans, and if something was going to go wrong, I'd already found a solution to solve it. I needed to have control. One day, I was getting ready to leave for one of my last days of teaching in the States. Everything was ready, everything was prepared, when suddenly, I felt my heart rate get faster and faster. My hands got really clammy, and out of nowhere, my body completely stopped. I saw a flash of white come across my eyes. And before I even knew what was happening, I felt the wind brush past me, fell face first, passed out, and hit the ground. When I woke up, I was so confused. I couldn't stop shaking. I was in an emergency room bed. My hands were trembling. My whole body felt like it was vibrating. I couldn't speak. I was throwing up. I didn't recognize anybody in the room, and the doctors were pumping me with things that I could not pronounce. I thought I had just had a heart attack. After a few hours, the doctors told me that day that I had a physically responsive panic attack due to my body's inability to properly respond to fight or flight. The stress and the pressure had taken over so much of my life that my body scientifically didn't know how to act any further to catch up with my brain. In other words, the hamster wheel stopped abruptly. And lying there in that hospital room, something became very clear to me. I didn't care about what just happened. There was one thing on my mind. I had failed. I failed. I kept repeating it back to myself. I wasn't thinking about my health. I didn't think about what just happened. I was thinking about every single thing that I just lost. I would miss work, my students would fall behind, I wouldn't succeed, I couldn't move abroad, my whole plan is ruined, my little sister's gonna be so disappointed. Everyone would hate me. Now, I have been used to attacks before, but never ones where the doctors told me that my health was actively declining. I think that everything that I was telling my students, you're enough, slow down, you're amazing, you've got this, go back, try again. I wasn't telling myself. And it took a while, but what I learned that day is that pushing through isn't always strength. Sometimes it's survival mode. And survival mode isn't meant to last forever. You see, I think a lot of us are living lives that look and are successful. We pass the entrance exams, we make the volleyball team, we successfully get a promotion, maybe your kids are enrolled in sports and clubs. We post about it, we compare ourselves, and we deem it productivity. But sometimes, that's all that occupies our brains. Sometimes, it's fear. Fear of falling behind. Fear of not being enough. Fear of what will happen if we stop. Who's gonna save us? No one but ourselves. Even though I was so overwhelmed, I realized that day that I still had people show up. I still had my goals, and even though they looked different, I still had them. Even though I had been set back, I was so much further because of it. I had people reach out. I reached out to myself, and I talked to my students that day, and I said, you are enough, and so am I. You see, sometimes strength looks like pausing, letting things be unfinished, letting the plans change, letting yourself rest without earning it. Basic human needs. For most of my life, I believed that survival meant moving faster. But it turns out, healing means slowing down, and you don't have to sprint through a life that was never meant to be a race. You don't have to prove your worth through constant motion, and you can't love your accomplishments if you're moving too fast to recognize them. You can't love them if you don't love what's going on behind the scenes. I used to measure my life in numbers, how much, how far, how fast, but now I measure it very differently. How present am I allowing myself to be? How do my actions affect others, for better or for worse? How do they affect myself? I learned that planning doesn't equal perfection. And then I added the term sabai to my vocabulary. So what I want to leave you with is this. You are allowed to be here. Not ahead, not behind, just here. You're allowed to make mistakes a lot, and you will. You cannot have the mountains if you don't have the valleys. And the hike up those mountains are so beautiful, but you have to stop to see it. You have to turn around. And when you get to the top of those mountains, the view is so worth it. Thank you.